Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Griefdrums, and welcome to today's video. This is going to be a bit of a round breakdown. Now, I've done things like this in the past for entire ranked matches. This one, I'm just going to break down this individual round and figure out exactly what went well as a team, what went badly, in the hope that others can sort of learn from this and figure out what they're doing wrong. Or correctly, you know, some elements of this worked really, really well, and others went awfully, and it really triggered me because this night on the whole we threw a lot of games, a hell of a lot of games, and the attacks were kind of like headless chickens. We had no real idea of what was going on, but let's go ahead and watch the actual round, and once we've finished watching, I'm going to go back through it and break down exactly what happened and what should have happened.
Hey, I don't know. Alright, I'm staying out of it. I'm not making any accusations. More people getting banned.
Reloading.
You do a viewer day or something. Not at the minute. It's something we discussed a little bit earlier on that I wouldn't mind doing.
Stay back.
The hatch open, is it?
Kitchen hatch is done now.
Swapping mag.
Drones activated.
I'm droning top floor. Anybody else droning anything? Like,
Yeah, I'm currently droning bar.
okay. Bedroom's clear. I didn't drone cash. If anybody else, that's not.
Yeah, drone up there.
Lounge is clear. Have you done garage at all?
Dock hatch is open. Friendly, do you want to open dirt? I'm guessing.
Garage looks alright.
All right, cash is clear.
Everyone and
I believe they're all on site, fellas. Either that. Did anybody drone strip at all?
no.
The only other.
Sergeant Shark is over there. If there's footprints, no, it's probably a bit late now, isn't it? Right, I'm gonna go main stairs, but it's castled off, so I'm gonna try and breach it.
Do you want to go for a
Charges hot.
why is guns highlighted to me? What the fuck?
Breaching
Do
charge.
you want to go for a back of church? Like if I open back of church or something?
Panda, can we get moto hatch, please?
Yep.
Blow it up.
Got no drones left. Oh, my game's bugging out.
Do you want to? Oh, someone just pushed. Who pushes that, dude?
Right,
All
we're
right,
both
sharp
playing that.
right.
You play
Under
that.
main stairs. The holes. Main stairs. Yeah. He's not on main stairs now. He's back in the arsenal hallway.
Nice.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You located
You got any thermites left or not?
Behind
I'm dead,
church.
I'm dead.
That was a disgusting pre-fire. Can we drop kitchen hatch?
Behind church table and then behind bar in church.
Drop kitchen hatch.
I'm going.
Mozzie's over by you. Fuck.
10 seconds.
Mozzie dead.
Cover me.
Bomb diffusion initiated. Protect the diffuser.
Any idea where last is?
Church.
Coming around me.
Okay.
Arsenal. I don't know why I said Arsenal. Memorial
Nice.
to it. I'm at
Op 4
Memorial.
eliminated. Friendly mission successful.
That was some disgusting kills.
Okay, so when the round first starts, we're obviously going ahead and getting cameras and stuff like that. I've actually spawned on the wrong side as Thatcher. This is a complete mess up on my part. I should have spawned over by the kitchen so I can get there a lot quicker. But yeah, it's a mess up on my part. Thermite's over here as well. That's not exactly great. But we do have a Hibana over by the kitchen hatch ready to go to work on those. I go ahead and get up to the roof just so I can cross over to the other side. And as I'm coming up and over, get flanked is Capital, obviously droning out the top floor. He gives a call, you know, are we working on droning anywhere else? And I say I'm just about to. Make sure the kitchen hatch gets opened by Hibana, and then I start peeking this. I'm a little bit concerned that this door's open. I don't know why it's open. I don't know whether a teammate did it. Judging by the break of the barricade coming towards me, it's more likely that there's someone on the inside has done it. So anyway, I start droning out the bar and all of that area. As I said, flanked is doing the top floor. The droning is not exactly coordinated. It's not brilliant. We should have really been working our way around the map, doing coordinated areas. I'm droning garage just to see if anyone's in there, but realistically, no one on our team is pushing that, so we don't have to worry too much about other than watching for sort of a flank rotation. At this point, Jackal is the only one that is actually in the building. You'll see that Thermite, for some reason, is still way outside of the kitchen that is already open. And I go down the main stairs. We've got 1:30 left by this point, and it's just, there's been no real advance or gains. So what I decided to do is I decided to open up the top of the stairs just so that I've got a line of sight down in a minute once I've opened this castle barricade off, or if someone decides to charge me, someone can return fire on that. But we're just stacking up on the stairs, and if I go ahead and pause it at this point, as you can see, there are 4 people in this shot alone, and if I skip it forward just a couple of frames, we go up the stairs and the 5th person appears. That is literally all 5 people hovering around the main stairs. There's no one on flank watch. There's no one actually doing much of anything. They're not putting a pressure down through the hatches. We're just stood around the main stairs. That is not good. That is not effective. We've got no real map control. We've got no one watching the flanks to retain that map control. It's just a bit of a cluster. Now, because of that, both Get Flanked and myself decide we're going to move through the bar. And at this point, I noticed that the hatch isn't even open to the moto area down below. The bar hatch is still closed. Quite how that has happened with a Hibana and a Thermite on the team, I don't know. So I request for it to be open. I say, what, can we get it open? At this point, I'm kind of umming and ahhing. I'm thinking, well, do I go on to flank watch here, or do I actually just try and push and make something happen? Because it kind of seems like nothing is really happening. No real gain is being made. We're not actually advancing at all. So the reason I open this up is to protect people down below if they try and get pushed, and there was no one watching that despite the fact everyone was hovering around it. And I decide to push down and say, is Thermite available? No, he's dead. I pre-fire the left as I see the open hole, and as I pre-fire it, I get a lucky kill. At this point, I pretty much tell Rob to go and drop the kitchen hatch, because again, we've got 17 seconds and people are just hovering around at the top of the stairs doing nothing. As he pushes in, I notice that Mozzie starts going towards him, and I try to push in to cover him. I luckily get the frag onto Mozzie while Rob is planting. We should have really had some pressure from above on the hatch. Why we didn't, I don't know. I really don't understand. At this point, Capital goes down over in the church and gives the call that he's in the armory where we are, which is, it's a bit of a mess up, and it was just an accident at the time. It's heat of the moment sort of thing. Luckily, I already knew that other person was in church, as I'd already seen them, so I wasn't too worried about that, incorrect call. I can correct that. But the biggest problem for me is this entire round, whilst we were lucky to get away with a win, we really shouldn't have done. There was no real game plan. There was no real idea as to what anyone was doing. And as you will have seen, for the longest time, we had about 3 people hovering outside of kitchen, and then when we finally pushed into the building with Thatcher being sort of I don't want to say an entry fragger, but being the one to push down those main stairs initially and try and open stuff up and get a push going, it almost seemed like several of the team members were too frightened to hold angles through the hatch and actually apply pressure where they needed to, and instead it was just a bit of a gaggle hovering around the main stairs waiting for someone to tell them what to do. Now, whether this is a fall down on the part of, we don't have an IGL or something, or we're not used to playing with each other, I don't know. But it's something that I feel really needs to be brought to the forefront. If you're playing at sort of a plat level, I'm plat 2. I was 1 game off plat 1 before we threw a load of elo yesterday. If you're playing at that sort of a level, you need to have a bit of a game plan. You don't need to necessarily have the best strats in the world. But what you do need to know is that if you're going to try and push armory, you need to get a couple of areas open. If you open up the moto hatch, it stops people from sitting under it. That's the one in the bar, just in case you don't know. That then allows people to push down the main stairs in relative safety, as they're not going to get peeked from that little moto area, the memorial bit. By opening the kitchen hatch, you can apply a lot of pressure to the entire armory side, and then you can actually mount your push onto the armory. This, however, is where I think confidence plays a big key. I think if you've had a couple of bad games, it's very, very easy to let the games get under your skin and either A, go searching for kills, in which case you're probably going to die because you're putting yourself in situations that you shouldn't be, or B, you're going to make mistakes where you're not confident enough that you're not actually peaking at all and you're not pushing forward. Now, that happens to the best of us. I've had nights where I inadvertently do it. You think, well, I've not had very good games, I'm not going to peak that because I'm probably going to die. There's nothing wrong with that, but if you're doing that, you need to be the one that is droning. If you're not having the best night in the world, then switch on to the intel, help your team, drone for them. be on flank watch, or alternatively, be the very first person that pushes in ahead. Work in a pair. Be the first one that goes into a room and almost bait yourself for the good of the team. There's been times in the past where G2 have been playing on bank, and as they're trying to push in downstairs to get the plant down, one person will literally go running across the actual CCTV room with no intention of killing anyone. They just run in so that the bullets can be drawn to them and the next person can refrag. If that person's got ridiculously low health, or you're just trying to get that mirror off the actual window, there is a time and a place for it. I guess the crux of this video is not to bash my teammates at all. We had a bad night and it was really unfortunate. And after several losses, we definitely had a bit of a confidence dip where people were reluctant to do things that they would normally do. If we were playing casual, they probably would have taken someone like Dekaibi with the Bosch G and gone in and memed a little bit. And sometimes you need to do that. You need to try and get a bit of a reset going. But the one thing that you should definitely take out of this is have a bit of a plan. Drone out where you want to go, have a look at it, and if it is a viable option, push it. Coordinate with your team. Say to them, I'm going to be going main stairs. Someone come with me. And go together. Have that confidence to actually go into gunfights, because if you haven't got the confidence, you will not win the gunfight. Don't all just stand around at the top of main stairs doing very little. If you're support, make sure the hatches are open. Make sure you get everything open that you need to get open. Anyway, that's going to about wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you can sort of look at it and say, you know what? I do that, or I don't do that, and take away some of those aspects from this video. If you're one of the people that stands around at the top of the main stairs and waits for someone else to sort of push or direct you as to what you should be doing, start assessing the game. Start seeing where you could push from and try and have the confidence to actually go and do that. Hopefully the video helps, and hopefully you can sort of learn from mine and my team's mistakes. But nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the video, please consider hitting that thumbs up. If you don't already, make sure to subscribe for all things Rainbow Six. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay reckless and relentless.